life.
Right.
All right, you all. So welcome. It's your girl Carlika Katrina Basnight-Menendez. Yes, all of that. And we have an amazing guest with us, Miss Delayna Watkins. Okay, so you all are in for a treat on today. Let me just tell you, she was one of the first speakers for Menopause and Mimosa when we first kicked that off like a couple of years ago. And we did it back to back, right? Because we had ladies overseas like, well, can you do it during our time? We sure can. Look, those accommodations that we make, real boss moves saying, let's handle the business and let's make everyone aware of menopause, what they call the menopause, right? Like I feel like you need some cinematic music behind
Right.
it. Dun-dun.
Or menopause, right? Dun,
Right.
dun, dun.
Like that's what it sounds like. But look, you all, who am I? I am the number one black face of women in menopause, and we are just spreading the word, spreading awareness, educating, empowering, and encouraging women that even before you get there. Now, for me, I don't know anything about perimenopause besides what's in the books or what you find on Google because I didn't go there, right? I had a total hysterectomy at the age of 30. So I was thrown into it by surgical menopause. But the thing is this, all women, we're going to get there one way or the other. Whatever your vehicle may be, it can be different. Your symptoms may be different because menopause is definitely not a one size fit all at all. And so, welcome, Delayna. Welcome.
Welcome. And it's always a pleasure to be here. Listen, like she said, she is all that. Okay. Carlika Basnight-Menendez and everything in between, the number one black face of menopause. Like she said, she don't know nothing about perimenopause because she didn't go through that. She went straight in there. So it is always a pleasure to come before you to talk about anything that has to do with menopause.
Oh, thank you. So, Delaney, just let everyone know who you are, what you're doing in the world. I know you do a lot of women's health. Look, you all, she has the women's lounge and all
Yeah.
of these different things. So, let everyone know who you are, what you're doing in the world.
Absolutely. Thank you again, as I said, for the opportunity. I'm Delayna Watkins, also known fondly as the Wellness Maven, and I am the executive founder of the Women's Wellness Lounge, where we come together and talk about all things and all phases of women's lives that has to do with wellness. And so I discuss that it is your birthright to be well in every area in every stage of life. And so definitely menopause is one of the most loved areas of mine because I feel like it is not talked about enough. Carlika, as you well know, we talk about puberty, we talk about sex, we talk about pregnancy, but we don't discuss menopause. And so to me, it's the feminine evolution. It is another transition in a woman's life. And so it's my pleasure to be able to talk with you as one of the things or one of the areas that needs to have a bright light shown on it.
Yes, I agree. And I love what you said that it's your birthright. And I think if
Mhm.
we get more of that perspective, that it's our birthright to be well, is our birthright, and not just well in one area, but all the areas, whether that's emotionally, mentally, sexually, spiritually, financially, to be well in all those areas. So when we're having these conversations, you all, let's go ahead and put this disclaimer. We're not diagnosing you, we're sharing experiences, we're sharing knowledge, and you need to seek your own medical professionals, right? Who's on your professional, your medical team, right? Do you have a therapist, your GYN or a menopause specialist, a pelvic floor therapist, all of these things. So menopause is not just those 34 symptoms, 34
Yes,
plus. It's
absolutely.
like a whole array of things.
Mhm. And the number one thing in all of that, Carlika, and you just pretty much is become an advocate for yourself. Because even with having all of those individuals on your team, you have to also know that you know your body and know yourself. So advocate for what you know that you're experiencing and what you know you deserve. As she said, and as I stated, it is your birthright to be well.
And I love that because if you don't advocate, and that's why I love, you have to pay attention to your own body because when you go to the doctor,
Yeah.
or any of these specialists, you're just telling them what's going on and they're going to come up with a treatment plan or a prescription based on what you're telling them. So if you go in there with a blank slate,
Right.
and if you don't know what testing to even ask for, because all testing they're not like, yeah, let me test your bone density today.
No. And I always say, don't segment your symptoms or segment your experiences or what you have going on. When you go in there, I mean, the same way you talk to your girlfriends on the phone or your spouse or your partner or whomever, and you tell them everything that you're experiencing was, you do the same when you go in and talk to your healthcare providers. I'm
Mhm.
talking about your toenail hurt, your back hurt, you can't sleep at night, you can only sleep on your left, not on your right, your hair's thinning. I mean, all of it. Why? Because one thing could segment to another, to connect to another that would lead to them being able to give you the proper diagnosis and or treatment for what you're going through. So don't think that that toe hurting doesn't connect to the back, that doesn't connect to the, the hair thinning or the night sweats or being able to sleep on one side versus the other. When I say go in and talk to your therapist or your, like you say, your menopause specialist or your pelvic floor specialist, I want you to tell them everything. Throw up.
Tell it all.
Tell it all. Tell it all.
Yes. Go tell it on the mountain. Tell them everything.
Go tell it on the mountains. Go tell it on that daggone examination table. Okay. I want you to tell it all.
Because that's the only way you can really make an informed decision, even for yourself, because ultimately they don't make the decision. You have to agree to having certain medical treatments. You have to agree to having certain plans. I had to agree to having the hysterectomy, even though I had all the pamphlets and different things that they gave me. I had to make a decision after going to multiple doctors, being in pain for a few years with no information at all. So going from one doctor to the next, and y'all just collecting my copay, and I still don't have no answers, right?
Right. Come on. Let's try this. What about that? What do you think about this? Okay, let's look a little further into that.
Yep.
And you're, each visit, you're not any more informed than you were from the last one.
Not at all. Actually, you feel more lost and you feel more confused. And a lot of people be ready to give up or just say, you know what, this is going to be my life. So I'm just going to deal with it. And I'm not going to say anything else about it. So Delayna, just walk us through even your journey, because everyone's journey to menopause, or why they even start discussing or advocating even for other women on their behalf. Walk us through your journey.
Sure. That's a great segue into talking about, again, that whole perimenopausal journey, because as you said, you didn't have that experience. For me, it was almost as if I was walking, and I say this in a joking way, but it was almost as if I was walking backwards, right? We talk about the whole Benjamin Buttons type of thing, right? And so I felt like I was really walking backwards as being someone, and let me kind of just set the tone for you here, that was, very much on a healthy living, healthy lifestyle journey. I'm very in tune with my body. I know what's going on. And then whammo, suddenly things that normally should have been occurring or that were occurring seemed to be going in reverse, meaning I noticed that I was not sleeping well when I was someone who never had a problem going to sleep, that I was suddenly feeling warm when I constantly was always one that would walk around with, layers of clothing on. And so it was just these subtle things that I started to notice without being told. Now, mind you, every year I go in for my annual. This was never even discussed with my healthcare provider at all, that you are in perimenopause. And so I'm just good, getting that clean bill of health. Oh, girl, you good, you good. And I'm like, clearly I'm not good. There is something going on. And so I had to sit with my own journal and journal these instances of things that were going on. And I put it together myself that the symptoms that I was experiencing was perimenopause. And so it really, I'm going to tell you how I felt. I was upset, I was mad, and I was agitated, Carlika, all that. Because I feel like I really should have had some preparation for that next phase of my life for two reasons. Because I would not have been spinning my wheels, wondering what was going on, and then I could have embraced it sooner.
Yeah.
And that is a powerful word to say, embrace, because I shouldn't have been angry about going through menopause. I shouldn't have been frustrated about going through perimenopause. I should not have been truly, kind of caught up in this web of like what's going on. I should have been embracing that period. And I lost probably a year or two, I think it was, really because kind of leading up to it without being able to embrace it. Now, once I realized what it was, oh, honey, I started to embrace it and then scream from the mountaintops at all of my other, women that were in perimenopause that probably, because I know if it was me going through it, someone who just swore that they knew everything about what was going on, in their life and with their bodies and all of that. I know there had to be hundreds, if not thousands of women out there who have no clue that a lot of what they're experiencing is related to this transitional period that they're in called perimenopause. So that was my journey. And like you said, Carlika, we met, but we really came together under the auspice of educating and really wanting to like raise our voice with menopause, because that wasn't something that I kind of stood on. That wasn't a program of mine. It was, again, one of those things that you just mention or that you just understand. But when I say once I started using my voice, women were like, what in the entire world? Like this is maddening, right? You call this March Madness. It was maddening for some women.
It is. It is. And once you, and I'm with you, because I literally would just be breaking out in a sweat on a live video. And I'm like, look, y'all, I'm having a hot flash. I'm getting ready to snatch the wig off. So I'm going to end this because I'm getting ready to, like, and I don't want to expose myself to y'all like that. Not with the wig. I don't care about the wig. I'll snatch that thing off in a minute. But look, y'all don't need to see everything. So let me end this live. And so I would start getting all these inboxes like, so you're in menopause? Women don't talk about that. I was like, well, why not? I do, because it's not something that I can sit down and drop off at a daycare. I can't say, hey, I'm going to take a leave of absence from menopause. I can't. That's not how it works. And so I love what you said, embracing it. And when we do embrace it, I think with the embrace, though, we have to be educated, right? We have to be educated. And it's a shame that we do learn about the first period, but we don't learn about the last period.
Nope.
We don't learn about that transition.
Nope. We don't. Exactly. We talk about puberty, right? When you first get your period, and we even talk about having sex. We talk about pregnancy, which all of that is a part of a woman's reproductive, right? And we don't talk about that transition. We don't talk about thriving through the period, thriving beyond the period. None of that. And so, like you said, the discussion just wasn't being had. And so I think, again, with your platform, with the Menocon, with the Menopause and Mimosa, it makes it okay. And it allows women that platform to be able to know that they're not going mad alone, that they are not going crazy, that this really is something normal for them to embrace as, again, as I said, part of their feminine evolution. It is perfectly fine. And just being able to understand what to expect. As you also stated before, it's going to be different with every woman, but at least you have some idea of what's going on.
Because Delayna, that right there, that's what I wish. I just wish I would have had a little more of the idea of what I possibly could expect. Because like I talked to a lady today and she was like, well, I started at 49. She said, but it was really a blur to her. And she's like, I'm 63 now. She said, but I didn't have hot flashes and anything. And I was like, yeah, that's very possible. You may not have had any symptoms. And then there's some women who seem like they have every symptom there is. But even you mentioned, puberty and sex and different things. But one thing we're not really taught sensuality, right? A lot of women in menopause and different things, we feel like, okay, our sexual desires, yes, your libido may drop some in different things. But then we feel like, okay, I've heard women say, you know what, I'm just cut, but why cut the pleasure, the things that you love and the pleasure out of your life? And I love what you said, thriving through, right? We're entrepreneurs, we're business women and different things. And we're not saying that menopause can't be hard, but what we are saying, if you have a perspective of it and you have some tools on how to navigate through it, these can be the best years of your life to be fearless. I'm finding more women are more fearless. They're more outspoken. They are more bolder. They're not worried about their age. They're like, I'm aging gracefully. I'm going to wear what I want to wear. I don't care if y'all say this. I shouldn't. I feel good in this. And so with that, these are the conversations that have to be had. And women are looking. They're seeking.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think it's almost like, I love what you said. It's almost like giving them permission, right? I think that again, when we look at maybe what it could potentially be taking away from us with the decreased libido, the, lack in sleep, the feeling like you have to dress differently because you're warmer or like, whatever, it feels like it does change quite a bit of things in your life. However, there are some things that you can just embrace that's going to be different. It's almost like that, I hate to keep using the word, but it's like a feminine evolution. Like there's just no other way for me to describe it. When I talk to women, they look at me kind of like side eye or crazy. They like, girl, what are you talking about?
Delayna, they be looking like, you happy about this?
You happy about? Yes.
It's not a death sentence. Like I didn't just get a death sentence. Once you, like you said, once you've embraced it, once you just like, you know what, this is a part of my life. This is the transition. It's no different than a woman having a new baby. It's no different than the transition of getting married. It's no different when you have, the toddler, you don't have to talk to the toddler about sex and periods and stuff. Right. But as they get older, you have to transition into certain conversations. And this is one that I'm even seeing women who are older than me. They're like, you just talk about this, but we make it comfortable.
Very, very comfortable. Because remember, back in the day, it used to be like the same way we were the birds and the bees, and you can't talk about sex. And if you have your first period, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Menopause, like, give me the megaphone. Menopause, like, we need to be, yes, make a song about it. Come through with it, right? So that again, it's comfortable for you, the one that's experiencing, those that are around you, your partners, even in the workplace. That's another thing that I'm finding. Carlika, is making menopause comfortable in the workplace, right? Those of us that are still out in the workplace, different things like that, so you don't have to feel like it's 90 degrees outside, but you got a fan on, or you walking around with. Make it comfortable so that they understand what it is that you're going through, and not that it should be a stigma or like a big old sign around on your head that you are going through menopause. Yeah.
But Delayna, that's a great point, even in the workplace and even in our homes. We have to use our voice and ask.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Your needs have changed, right? Mm-hmm. Think about the 19-year-old yourself. Think about the 15-year-old, 25, 35. Yeah. Your needs have changed even in your household. The dynamics, you have your newborns, and then you become an empty nester, right? The needs, you don't need to go spend $250 or $300 on groceries no more. It's just you and your spouse, right? So the needs have changed. So even in the workplace, more employers need to be enlightened that people's needs and lifestyle change.
Yes.
We're always in transition.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I think for women, giving them their voice to be able to say that, yes, we're going through transition. And as a result, in order for me to show up to be great at what I do, this is what I need to be comfortable.
Yeah. And it can just be, sometimes it's the small changes, like a drop in the temperature or an extra break and different things. This helps with the culture of your workplace. This keeps those because typically your women that are in menopause, they're your mid-level or high performing executives and different ones in higher positions. You don't want them to walk out the door because all of that knowledge
goes with it. Right? These are your wisdom years. So if you have someone that's working with you that's in perimenopause and menopause, trust me, they're bringing with them wisdom as well. And you're going to let wisdom walk out the door because you're not willing or able to make it comfortable for them? No.
Yeah. And I think employers need to be careful too, because what I've been seeing more women are suing.
Yeah. That's why I brought this up. Yeah.
They are suing because of the lack of empathy, the word choice that people use. Like, people don't understand your words, even in the workplace. Your words matter everywhere. But even in the workplace, what I don't find funny or someone else didn't find funny, you have to be careful of your words. It's not considered a disability, but it can be a disability if your reproductive organs have been removed or anything. So I'm like, people in the workplace, be careful of your words, because more lawsuits are going on now.
Yeah, because of that. So, which also is allowing more of a light to be shown on this, this area of our wellness. So, yeah.
Look, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Delayna, I just want you to, because I know you do so many amazing things. I know a lot of women with menopause, and I definitely want to respect your time. They're like, oh my God, the weight gain and different things. So what's a few tips that you would suggest? And I want you to let people know, what are you offering? Because we want women to have, my thing was, I didn't have options. So this is why we're doing this, because I want one, because someone's going to resonate with you. Someone's going to resonate with me. Someone will resonate with another woman. And I want people to have tools, resources, because if we have options, now we can make a sound decision on, okay, is this program going to be best for me? Did that person resonate with me? And so let us a few tips, even with because weight gain is almost one of those top things that so many women like, I'm gaining weight, I don't know why, what can I do? Oh my God, I can't do anything. And then let us know, what programs and different things do you offer?
Sure, absolutely. So, like, as you said, weight gain is one of the major concerns, probably one of the top concerns for women that are going through perimenopause. And so there are a couple of different things that you can do as it relates to weight gain. And it typically is relative to the fluctuation in our hormones. As you know, our estrogen level drops. And so it's really looking at doing a hormone reset. And so when we look at that, it's understanding what your hormone levels are. And so when you talked about going to your healthcare provider and talking with them about different things that they can do, they can draw estrogen levels. They can also do a TSH, which is a thyroid stimulating hormone. So there are different hormones that are affected when you're going through perimenopause. And so those that what's taking place is typically the number one thing that's affecting your weight gain, because most women that are going through menopause, you don't suddenly just change how you're eating because you're going through menopause.
Right.
Especially like for me, I've always eaten what I've eaten, but I just noticed that, wait a minute, something's, going on with the way that I'm retaining weight, your metabolism, and the way that your body breaks down food, insulin resistance. So there's quite a number of things that are happening in your body when you're going through perimenopause that, like I said, is probably driving you mad, because most women will say, I'm eating less, or I'm not even eating the things that I used to, because you're really trying to avoid those known things that can lead to weight gain. So what I do is I do a hormone reset program. I also am hosting a masterclass during March, and it'll be a free masterclass that will help you to gain the knowledge and the information. And then from there, if you determine that, based on what you hear, if you want to work with me further, I will offer you that opportunity as well. But it's a masterclass that basically, my magic word, which is embracing and managing menopause, is the name of the masterclass. You'll also receive a ebook with that as well. And then just kind of really going from there, Carlika. And then I lead them into the sugarless living piece of it, because that's also a driver as well, helping women to make healthier choices as it relates to eating more whole organic foods and avoiding those foods that are processed, and a lot of foods that do contain hormones and GMOs and things like that. And our bodies are already kind of wreaking havoc because of the fluctuation in our hormones. So again, DelaynaWatkins.com is my website if you want more information about that. And it'll be released on March 1st, during the month of March. So again, by the time you all see this, March Madness, the information will be there. So I look forward to, again, Carlika, you and I do so much throughout the year oftentimes. So I look forward to being able to partner with you again as well.
Yes, so thank you. You all, look, you want to follow her on social media as well. Join the Women's Wellness Lounge. She's always dropping all the education and things in there, so you can ask your questions. And not only that, you all, community is important. I wish I would have had community when my ovaries and everything were just taken right on out of me. I say it was snatched from me, but that's how I felt, as if it was snatched from me. But you want to make sure that you're getting in these communities, right? Not just because you just want to be another number, but you really want to help you advocate for yourself. So now you can share that information with someone else, right? We're just sharing it one woman at a time, one community at a time, one live at a time. You're not going to hear us stop talking about it. Look, Delayna, I told another lady, I said, look, especially for women of color, you all, it is time for us to really speak up and speak out, because we are the higher percentage of women getting hysterectomies and developing fibroids and endometriosis and all of these women's wellness and health issues and things that arise. The more we are educated and aware, now you find community that they can encourage you. They can give you some tips, right? Once again, seeking your medical professionals, but they can give you tips, because once you leave, and I can vouch for this, once I left and had my surgery, you think the doctor called me? You think I called the clinic?
There was no community. And I'm glad you said that. And just, I'm over here like, yes, connect with the community. Like she said, even if it's the Women's Wellness Lounge or someone else who may share a community that you have, one of your other speakers that you have on, whatever it is, find your tribe. We even have the Menno Squad. Get in the Menno Squad. You like what they have in there. There's another big group that I'm even a part of on social media as well. And they are in there. When I say the ladies are sharing everyday information, Carlika, because someone will speak your language. Someone is experiencing and going through the exact same thing that you're going through. So you can find your Menno sister in there,
Yes, and I love, find your Menno sister, find your Menno girlfriend, okay? Yes, that's what I call everyone, my menopause girlfriends, because it is a true community. We may all be talking about the same thing, but like Delayna said, I don't really talk about perimenopause because that's not my experience. But there are over 600,000 women every single year having a hysterectomy, right? And they have pamphlets, they have no community, they feel lost. They feel lonely. They feel like, oh my God, I have to do all this research. And I don't want you to have to do all of that, because you have women who are saying, menopause.
Right, exactly. And you're already frustrated. So to be frustrated and to not have support, it can be maddening.
Right. And that's when people lead more into the depression and all of these other things. Menopause is not a disease, you all. It's a transition, but it can lead to other things. And so get educated, right? We're here just to serve and support you. And so Delayna, you all make sure you go to DelaynaWatkins.com and connect with her. You all remember, take out your phones, mark your calendar, September 16th through the 17th. We are having MenoCon right here in St. Mary's, Georgia. If you want a little bit of hot weather, right? Delayna and I were talking about her bipolar weather, where she is. Her bipolar weather. They had snow and rain and sunshine all in one day.
All in 1 week.
Oh, she said all in 1 week. Summer, winter, spring, and fall, all in 1 week. But mark your calendar September 16th, because this is for that everyday woman, right? And we just want to come together, and we're going to have a good time. And that is September 16th, 17th. The link is at the bottom. Delayna, I just want to say thank you. It is always a pleasure seeing you and connecting. We will definitely we'll always look. I always say y'all stuck with me.
Yes.
Now, if y'all don't want to be, you just let me know. But y'all stuck with me, okay? But I want to say thank you for your yes. I truly appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing in the world. Empowering and having women to embrace their wellness, right? Embrace their wellness, whether that's menopause, whether that's whatever that looks like for them. So keep doing what you're doing, and congratulations on everything. You all make sure you get connected so you know when her course in March for Women's Month. Isn't that amazing? Right. So get on there. She said it's free. Come on. Free education, free connections, free community, and you get to connect with Delayna Watkins as well. So you all remember, when you change your perspective, you change your life. So change your perspective about menopause so that you can embrace it, just like Delayna said. I'm your host, Carlika Katrina Basnight-Menendez. Yes, all of that. And we'll talk to you soon.